What is up, my viewers? Spang here, bringing you another World of Tanks gameplay commentary. This time it is another match of mine. Like many of these videos, it is in the older client. This is actually 9.0. Forgive me for trying to multitask and, you know, absolutely failing at it. The battle is going to be, I forget what this map is called. I want to say it's like Windstorm or something. It's been a long time since I've played on this map. So if I could hit the right button, yes, it is Windstorm, and it is the only battle available on Windstorm, which is standard battle. Now, as you can tell, I'm in the Aufkl Panther, as it is so often called. That's not the actual name. It's like the Aufkl, some really big German word, Panther. And I am in a tier 10 match, and looking at the match, you would say, well, our team has the advantage. It has one more tier 10, and it has the 215 183, that beast of a tank that the British tank destroyer is. And like any good tank destroyer from the British tier, well, that's running that tank in particular. He's probably running their Hesh rounds that have just all that amounts of damage, and he can probably one-shot the AMX, maybe the E75 if he gets a good shot, the IS-8s, you know, a lot of good stuff. You would think we have the advantage, but as you will see, this match doesn't quite unfold as you would expect. And right now I'm just trying to do some early scouting in the town, not overcommitting, trying to counter scout that 1375 right away. I see he's spotted, but he's not really posing too much of a threat right now. I'm just trying to see if I can spot anything pushing through and getting a little too aggressive, while at the same time not exposing my tank too much. In the back of my mind, when I'm playing Arty in these situations, when I'm playing Scout Tank in these situations, I am always trying to stay alert on openings for me to run through Arty. And right there, you see, I thought that building you could run through, but clearly I was mistaken right there, taking a look at the gap, seeing if I could spot anything, yet still nothing to be seen. The enemy team and our team kind of had a standoff in the town, but none of our team really going to the north, so leaving one of our flanks fairly exposed, but at the same time not so exposed to where it's a great threat. IS-8 spotted. Looks like I was the one to spot him. I was the only one who really had any sort of view on him. This E75 had not come around the corner. E75 versus IS-8. I would take the E75 usually, but we'll see exactly how that unfolds as this match progresses. The 1375, having drowned himself, if you look at the kill feed there, I actually didn't know exactly what happened to him in the match. I wasn't paying too close of attention. All I was doing was making sure he wasn't blitzing across, and then, you know, one moment he was there and the next he wasn't. And I missed that kill feed in the game, but either way, my counter scout role was fulfilled. I saw that. I was like, okay, well then, seeing as there's not really much else I can do, I can continue to patrol the perimeter and look for an opening to hit enemy artillery. And here I think I just kind of trying to keep an eye in the north, make sure my team doesn't get overwhelmed and surprised by a large push that they never saw coming until it was on our base. I'm trying to keep a decent amount of spotting going. The T62 Alpha pulling back and trying to provide some sort of flanking support. From what I can guess, it looks like he's trying to get in a better position to where he can be a bit more flexible and a bit more reactionary. Enemy E75 pushing up through the town. Definitely on our side now. The enemy team actually getting very aggressive in the town, and our team seeming to buckle under the pressure. Still, we have a one tank advantage, though it is that scout tank, so it doesn't really count per se. Our E75 quite banged up. That IS-8 not so much, and right here I get a little bit dicey, and I decide, you know what, I'm not going that way. I was about to go help out our ally there that against that E75, if nothing else, just be annoying to that E75 and get his attention elsewhere, but I was not able to get there in time. So right away I abort that mission and decide, well, what can I do here besides continue to patrol and look for openings for any sort of damage I can deal. And damage comes in many forms in this game. Sometimes it's in the form of spotting. Now, if you're wondering, my tank crew really doesn't have any sort of camouflage training, any sort of perks that would be noticeable in helping me passive scout, so I've got to be the active scout role. Here, I believe I've found a way to sneak through the enemy base. Of course, that IS-8 is going to have some shots at me for a brief amount of time, but the amount of time is going to be limited right here. I do believe, enemy artillery spotted, and that's exactly what I was going for. I do the auto aim so I can fire on the move. I figure, you know what, I have just as good a shot as hitting him as I would aiming through my scope, and in this way, I actually managed to be able to drive and have a bit more situational awareness. Here we go. Now I start getting a little more. Enemy artillery making one attempt to defend himself, and the absolutely futile thing that is going to be, absolutely futile resistance that is going to be his life. Now, right here, I don't understand this artillery, right? He pulls onto their base and provides me with the position to hide behind after he dies, right? So, I guess a piece of advice to artillery players, if you're gonna die, don't die on your base, because that just provides a husk. The enemy IS-8, if you saw that shell fly across my screen, that was the enemy IS-8. Currently, we're losing 3-8 right now, and like I said, exactly, I'm now using his tank as cover to protect me from that IS-8, the only tank on their team in range of actually hitting me before I capture the base. And not only that, if you've noticed, I was capturing their base the entire time I was killing their artillery. Another reason, as artillery, you don't want to die on your base. Now this IS-8 getting aggressive as he should, trying to shoot his tracks and missing. The IS-8 realizing how important it is for him to take me out as his team is winning 4-11 now. They have absolutely taken complete control of the city, only with an M103 and that French tank destroyer. I'm sorry, not French. What am I saying? British tank destroyer up in the north, managing to eliminate an IS-8, and our artillery is still alive. But not much else is a factor on our team. They still have their Jagdpanzer E100, which is that tier 10 German tank destroyer. Wow, I am really out of it right now. But and 2 IS-7, so quite a formidable tier 10 force. And the enemy team, this IS-8, trying to figure out how it can get me. There's been a few times here and there where he's had a shot like right in there. If he was able to take that shot at me right there, managed to bait a shot where he hits nothing but the dead husk of his ally, and I capture the enemy base as the enemy starts to capture mine. And their E75 asking how, their IS-3 going wow, and me being the sole factor in my team's victory. My team only managing to get a total of 5 kills, one of those being mine of their artillery, and the enemy team managing to get 12. In the end, taking out our our arty, and our M103 near death in the north, our FV-18, wow, yeah, the 183 is what I usually just refer to it as in-game to shorten the names of things and better communicate with my teammates, right? And he's still doing pretty well in health overall, but the fact is, those two would not have been properly equipped to deal with the massive force of enemy tanks on our base about to capture. So, in the end, it just goes to show that even a little scout tank, even in a tier 10 match, a tier 7 scout can still make all the difference if things just unfold just right. I mean, let's face facts. I wouldn't have been able to do that if that German arty, if that E100 arty had not died on their base. I would have been just fine. They would have been just fine. I wouldn't have been fine. I would have died a horrible death to that IS-8, right? And any factor, in any other circumstance, I would have just aborted the game. In terms of, like, I would have not even tried to capture. I would have just tried to run away the moment I saw that IS-8 start coming down after me. I wouldn't have stayed out in the open to just die needlessly to an IS-8. I probably would have, like, ran back to our base and looked to possibly get some reset points. But all in all, I wouldn't have been able to win the game had that German arty, had that enemy artillery piece just not died on their base. And if that IS-8 had been a little bit of a better player, I mean, he had a couple shots at me here and there that he could have taken, but he was just not too sure he wanted to risk it considering his reload. He didn't quite want to risk missing the shot, which he eventually did and end up doing in the end anyway. So, all in all, kind of a trollish match, just the troll Panther, I guess, is what I'm going to call it. Because who expected a tier 7 scout to win a tier 10 match for his entire team? Seriously. But let's go to the post-game stats and see exactly how things unfolded. Alright, here we go. As you can tell, nothing too impressive. Mastery badge, class 3, or whatever it's called. Something like that. But not too impressive in terms of experience earned. But I did get, obviously, the Invader medal. Spotting E75, IS-8, and IS-3. So one of those IS-8s was spotted by me. Actually managing to get a little bit of spotting damage. I'm sure that's when my E75 ally shot him. Getting 5 shots and a kill on that German tank. And then if we go over to the next screen, managed to see that, all in all, I was the top experience earner for my team, not too surprising considering their lackluster performance, even getting more experience than the M103 there. Total damage due to my assistance, not anything impressive. Base capture points, that is the big thing right there, 100 points. And total vehicle spotted, 5. So not too effective in my role as a scout, but I was very effective in my role as counter arty in terms of just managing to kill their artillery piece and capture their base. So kind of a raider in a sense. And yeah, I know I didn't get the actual award for raider, but the effect is still the same, capturing the enemy's base before they even really know what exactly happened, before they can even piece together how did we even let this happen. So the enemy team kind of just failing miserably. And one thing I feel I need to point out, if our 103 and 183 had both been a bit more aggressive and gotten themselves killed a bit towards the end, I would have gotten a Kolobanov's medal, which is, you know, win a battle when you're the last tank standing against 5 or more enemy players. And it's a little bit sad that those two players were so, I guess the word is cautious. So, what is the word I'm looking for? Well, I guess it's not too important. But if you like the Troll Panther, click that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. And if you got a replay, check the description below for instructions on how to submit. And until next time, this has been Spang, and I am signing off.